Hey there, mudroomers, it is Carmen here, and today we're going to do a technique video featuring our stoneware glazes, Flux, and our washes. So today we're going to be using Muddy Waters and Copper Float as our stoneware glazes, and we'll be using our light Flux and Cobalt wash. The first thing that you're going to want to do is apply the Flux. We're going to apply it using this Rider bottle. So I just poured our Flux into this little Rider bottle, which makes it really nice for applying a good thick application of Flux in one go. So I'll get that going. And I'm just going to go along our rim here. So I'll do an internal ring. And it doesn't have to be anything super precise. All of this is going to move down the piece, so no worries there. I'm just kind of creating a band to have the wash rest on, because the Cobalt wash is actually not super mobile, so putting it on top of the Flux in addition to layering it in between some stoneware glazes that have mobility will enhance the movement of the Cobalt wash. I've got my bands of Flux applied here. They are pretty thick. If you look here, you can kind of see the thickness of the bands. They're nice and raised, but not running down my piece. This Flux was on the thicker side when I put it in the bottle, so if you have a thinner bottle of Flux, you might end up needing to do 2 coats of Flux to achieve this thickness. So I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and then come back and apply the Cobalt wash. We're going to apply it using a little dropper. You're welcome to put it in one of these if you can't find a dropper. Just anything to dispense this in drops onto the surface will work fine. So these are really nice because you don't have to fill a whole bottle and dedicate that to the Cobalt wash, unless that's a way that you end up using it a lot. And this we're gonna apply 2 coats of. The Cobalt wash tends to go on a little bit thinner than the other washes. We like to put on usually 2 coats instead of 1, which is usually fine when you're using some of the other washes in our wash line. So we'll go ahead and let that dry and then apply our second coat. So we can go ahead and allow this to dry, and then we will apply our stoneware combination. Once your wash has dried all the way, you can go ahead and apply 2 coats of Copper Float. We'll go ahead and let this dry and come back and apply the second coat. All right, so once your Copper Float has dried, for the second coat, we're going to apply 2 coats of Muddy Waters onto the inside of the bowl. Muddy Waters is a crystal glaze, so the loading of the crystals is going to have an effect on the results. The heavier crystal loading will create more blue variation in the piece, which will match the cobalt. And if you have a lighter crystal loading, you are going to have a lovely brown variation that occurs. Once your first coat of Muddy Waters has dried, you can go ahead and apply the second coat. For the bottom of this bowl, you can apply 3 coats of either of the glazes that we used. On our sample, we will apply 3 coats of copper float. Once your piece has been fired to cone 6, it should look something like this.